Welcome to Bears Banter. The Bears fall today to Cleveland Browns 26-6. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Alongside of me today is Tammy Harris, Mike Alton, Guy Moore, Keith Flournoy.
Whoa.
And I don't know what happened to Jay. Maybe he got sacked too.
Maybe he got sacked.
He got sacked too. Cleveland was sacking so much they just decided to sack Jay too.
Oh my God. I go Jay.
There you go. What's up, Jay?
Oh man.
Yeah, I was saying Cleveland sacked you too. They were sacking so much today.
Man.
Hey, you know what? That was that. I didn't see that game coming.
That's how the Bears' offense was today.
Wasn't it? Just like I said, the score was 26-6. Let me start off with this stat because it's kind of unbelievable. Then we could just start from there.
Bernard, we can't hear what you're saying.
You can't hear me, Jay? Hold on, Jay. Sound like he's having some connection issues. Hold on.
Sounds like it.
Your mic looks like it's okay. Okay, your mic look okay.
Bears' offense was today.
Right. Hold on. Let me bring you out, Jay, and bring you right back in. Okay. Okay. So let's start off with this stat here. The Browns had 9 sacks. I don't know how many quarterback pressures. There's too many to count.
All of them.
The Bears had 6 completions, and the total yards passed by the Bears was they only had 1 yard passing. Now, to understand that stat, if you look at the stat line, it's going to say Justin Fields passed for more than that because sack yards are taken off your total passing yards. So that's why you'll see on the stat line that I think he threw for like 68 yards. Yeah, he threw for 68 yards, but the net passing yards were only 1 yard. I mean, let's just start with that. I mean, start with that. I've never seen nothing like that.
No.
What do you think about that, Tammy? I know you kind of discussed it.
Kind of. It was horrific. It was one of the most painful games that I could have ever watched. Nagy got to go. Like, Justin made some mistakes. He made some typical rookie mistakes. He held the ball too long. He should have thrown the ball away at some points. But Nagy has got to go. At this point, I just want to go on the record. Y'all know I'm a Laser fan. I just think they should fire Nagy, see what Desai does with the defense, let Bill Lazor be the interim head coach while they find one. Maybe we can find an offense. Nagy does not make reasonable play calls. He does not make common sense play calls, and he does not set the team up to be in a place to win.
Can we just scratch this and start all over again?
He just got to go.
What was that, Jay?
Can we just scratch this and start all over again?
This game?
No do-overs to football.
What you got, Jay? We got you live now. We got you, Jay. I don't know if you can hear us. Hold on, we'll come back to Jay.
I don't even know what to say because I don't know what the question was.
Oh, we just started this talking.
All I do know is the Bears offense sound like our broadcast right now, sputtering.
Okay.
It was terrible. It was terrible. 9 sacks.
That's true. Hey, Guy, what do you think about that stat? 9 sacks.
I don't really have words for it, man. I've been watching football since I was a kid. I mean, I've seen the Bears at their worst. I mean, I'm talking about early years that Walter Payton was there when the guys couldn't pass. They had Bob Avellini. It's like run left, run right, run center. Walter getting us 200 yards. I mean, at least there's some pride in trying, but I mean that was abysmal. It was horrible, man. And it wasn't like, the defense didn't play great, but they played good enough for them to at least catch up, man. And this is like, if I could describe our offense in one word, and I'm not going to talk about the offensive line, that's a whole nother bit of therapy for me. They were anemic. They were anemic. They couldn't stop a third grade football team with that offense.
Oh wow. Hey, Mike, what happened today? I mean, just what happened?
Well, I come on here every Friday and say we need to run the football and play good defense, and we do neither when the game starts. You know, it's like as I said before on the pre-broadcast, the future is bright, but you have to put some better pieces around Justin Fields, and even though you know we may be looking at his performance today and judging on either side, he has some intangibles that can help our football team, but the people that's in front of him, the coach that's beside him, and the management that's in the office are not going to help him. He needs to be protected at all costs, and that's the only way we're gonna win football. And this, you know, the mama say, mama sigh, that defense sucks donkey. I mean, we can't stop a nosebleed, and it's ridiculous. And we got to look at it. You know, I come on and I actually give my picks not from my heart, but from the intangibles and looking. And I said on Friday, Myles Garrett is going to be a problem, and he was a problem. Hey Jay, how'd you like Odell Beckham Jr. today? Because I told you he was going to come out and show.
He caught a few passes. He caught what, 5 passes? I mean, he didn't break 100. He didn't break 100 yards. He just got no touchdown.
No,
I mean, he did what a wide receiver do.
This is his first game back in a year.
But he did what a wide receiver is supposed to do, is go out and catch passes. He wasn't no X factor. I mean, he wasn't no factor in the game. So the bottom line is our defense played well enough to win in the first half. And once your defense continues to just be on the field, you get wore down. Our offense did absolutely zero today. How do you have 69 yards passing and 67 yards giving up in sacks? Come on.
Yep. Because you have to block for the guy.
What happened, Frank?
Nothing.
First off, the offense was atrocious. That was not an NFL offense. The plays were very formulaic. Those first 15 plays that Nagy tried to script, he was still trying to run in the second half, so it was ridiculous. The narrative's going to come out of this is that Justin Fields wasn't ready, and you're going to hear all kind of people say that there's no way you can attribute this whole loss to him, or even most of it. What's happening on most of these plays, the wide receivers got no separation. That's why he had to hold the ball longer. And in other cases, the offensive line was so poor, he wasn't able to actually even get the ball out of his hands within the first 2 seconds, let alone go through its progression. So, and from a defensive standpoint, the defense played pretty well in the first half. But from my perspective, I know I'm a defensive apologist. The defense lost a war of attrition. By the time you got to the second half and they started just running the ball with that two-headed monster, defense had no answers for them. So
and not only that, your offense going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They back on the field. I mean, it's like what do you want them to do? What do you want a defense to do when they continue to go backwards on offense? I mean, if it wasn't for Pat O'Donnell, who was our MVP today, if it wasn't for him, ain't no telling what the score would have been.
Yeah. Hey, what I thought today, what happened was Matt Nagy inability to call a professional offense.
Yep.
Now, I know they were putting pressure on him. Of course, that's going to happen. You're going to put pressure on a rookie. But Matt Nagy had no game plan for it. That game was 3-10 at halftime, which means you was in that game.
Yep.
Up to that point. When I look at the stat line, with you being down 10-3, how do your running back only have 10-10? Guess what? When you're getting blasted like that at the line of scrimmage, you got to start running the ball, even though you're down at that point by, I think they eventually end up being down 13-6 at one point. But guess what? Your game is not over. But he's panicking. He's throwing. He's getting his quarterback killed. At a certain point, just run the ball. Even if you lose the game, save your quarterback. I mean, he got sacked 9 times, but he probably got hit about 20 times.
15.
Yeah, they didn't do any
15.
rollouts.
15.
You didn't have the tight ends chip the defensive ends. Cole Kmet must think he's an elite receiver. He's not. He's not getting any separation, and he can't block worth squat. So all of these times you see him, trying to get a pass, and he look upset because the ball didn't hit him right in the hands. He kind of sucks. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
My only fault with Nagy is, as much as y'all know I don't like him as a play caller, it wasn't nothing he can do. The only thing he could have did is, which is what I text y'all, was go max protect and hope 2 or 3 guys in a route could get open. That offensive line had no answer for the Browns today, and the Browns just licked their chops. So
there is something Nagy can do. Nagy could do.
I don't think there was nothing Nagy could have did today.
He ain't good at it.
I don't think there was nothing Nagy could have did today.
What you got, Tammy?
I said there is something that Nagy can do. He can give up the play calling because he's
that's a whole nother story. But
use the people that you have on your team. Laser is a much better play caller. Laser knows how to run an offense better. Use them. There is something that Nagy can do, and that is get out of his own damn way.
Hey, Tammy, American Male actually watching on YouTube says he agrees with you, Tammy. Also, we have another Facebook user who's saying no halftime adjustment. Unfortunately, when people respond for the Facebook group itself, for some reason it doesn't show their names.
I'm sorry, man.
Correct. You can't blame Fields. Okay, hey, let's go to the next question. Okay, let's just jump into Justin Fields right now before we move on to the offense and defense. From the little bit we saw, I mean, what did you see out of Justin Fields today? You want to start it off, Plank?
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Justin Fields gets an incomplete. That game, there was no realistic expectation that you can give him a judgment on anything. As soon as he got the ball, there were defenders hitting him. They collapsed the pocket. They kept him directly within the pocket, so he didn't have an opportunity to escape or try to run or what have you. Justin Fields did the best he could. As far as I'm concerned, Andy Dalton, Tom Brady, nobody else would have been able to do anything different. You would have saw that same game no matter who the quarterback was, except maybe Walter Payton.
You know what, man? Call me a pundit or whatever. I feel the way it looked to me, it looked like, and I'm not saying, I'm not insinuating that it's true, but the way it looked to me, it almost looked like Nagy was like, well, you know what, we're going to just set him up the field because you know what, I know more than everyone.
Come on, man.
I know more than you do.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
As I said, I'm not insinuating that it's true, but from the way it looked,
you're not saying, you're just saying. Okay.
I mean, but think about this. We all been watching football virtually all of our lives. Have you ever in your lifetime seen a team that wasn't great but wasn't really, really bad play like that and do like that? It's like you said, Plank. You said a couple things as far as talking about the play calling and stuff like that, like a few shows ago, and we were talking about. But it's like he's got these scripted plays. Jay's always said, hey, you call the game in front of you. It's almost like, well, I don't care if we get sacked. You know what? I got 15 plays, and these are the plays that I'm going to call. I'm not saying that Nagy is setting them up to fail, but I guarantee, because he's one of them habitual line steppers that don't like to take, credit for when they screw up and say, well, see, I told you, Justin Fields wasn't ready. I give him an incomplete, but with the way that the offensive line blocked, the type of plays that they ran and stuff like that, if I was one of them dudes like the conspiracy theorists, I'd have said, you know what, this whole thing was like, you know what, we're going to run what I run because of what I say. And if he doesn't do well, then I can say I told you so.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that whole argument that Justin Fields isn't ready, that's the same thing as a parent saying, well, my kids don't know how to read. Well, you the parent. Right. What is your job to do? Your job is to get your children ready for the life.
Yeah.
So this makes no sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're not going to let your child don't get sacked 9 times either.
Well, Justin Fields was sacked one less time than my brother's friend predicted. He predicted 10, which is bad. Like when we were in the first half, he's like, he's gonna get sacked 10 times in this game.
Give that man a Glenn Levitt.
Wait, his name ain't Laser, is it? Your brother's friend ain't Laser, is it? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Justin Fields looked like a rookie. It wasn't his fault by any stretch of the imagination. He should have had better play calling designed to help him succeed. The offensive line collapsed more times than not. They didn't fully protect him. And I get that. And I get that he had nowhere to go, but I do still think that there are times that he definitely should have gotten rid of the ball sooner. Even though you had nowhere to throw it, throw it away. And he didn't do that. But that comes with being in there and learning and experience. And then there were times where he threw the ball, honestly, to the wrong person. There was somebody else open. Like there was a play, I think it was Montgomery or Mooney, I can't remember, was open. He should have went there, but he went to connect. So he wasn't fully reading everything that was open when it was available to him, although not much was open. But I mean, he looked like a rookie, but it wasn't all his fault. Nagy did not, set him up to succeed.
Okay. Yeah, but I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Let me share a couple of viewers' comment. John Muhammad said that this looked like that game where Jay Cutler got sacked all them time Monday Night Football. Also, he said you got to give you can't judge him because the coach is incompetent.
Yeah.
Somebody else put sorry, can't see your name, but it's a Facebook user. Nagy is no Andy Reid.
Sure. Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, quick, you got.
Well, my thing is a lot of people think that Justin Fields is going to walk on the field today and be the savior. There's so many different aspects of this team that need to be corrected. And so until you do that, you're going to start getting the same results. I looked at the schedule and it don't look good. The thing is that I've always been a component of letting him play and try to work through. You think about when you first got to your job, you wasn't the 10-year veteran guy that's walking around and know everything. You just coming in to try to, get your feet wet, get the job done, and you learn things as you go. It's the same thing with this quarterback. I'm a component of him playing. I said it before. We can accept losing with him in there. There's some things that need to change as far as even with Nagy. I don't want him to be the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the ball boy, the equipment man. I don't want him to be around because he's not. I mean, he did the same thing with Trubisky and then blamed everything on Trubisky. And so we can't afford to do that. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, how do you run a football 10 damn times in an NFL game? That is 2.5 times per quarter. And David Montgomery is the one that's giving you what you want. Montgomery had 10 rushes for 37 yards. That's how you stop a pass rush. You run the ball right out. So until you figure that out, then, I mean, you're not helping anything. But I'll take Justin's performance every week because every snap is going to get him closer to where we need to go. And he's going to learn something every game.
Let me add this since you just said that, Mike. Hold on, let me take this comment off the screen. But Mike, at the Bears had 46 yards rushing by Montgomery. They had 10 attempts, 34 yards. The other 12 yards was by Justin Fields, so they had a total of 46 yards rushing. The Bears had six completions out of 20 attempts. The Cleveland, Baker Mayfield had 19 completions out of 31 attempts, 246 yards. Cleveland rushed for a total of 215 yards. Between their two running backs, they had a total of 165 with 32 attempts. I forget which one. I think it was I forget which running back it was. He was averaging 8.1 yards per carry. Who was that?
Hunt.
That was Hunt. Kareem Hunt averaged 8.1 yard per carry. He was running that ball like a grown man running against high schoolers. But that's besides the point as far as that. Hello, what we got? Got Sharon right here. Sharon said, right, a lot of corrections, and yes, he's a rookie. Correct. He is a rookie. We do got to remember that he's a rookie. He's going to be a lot of growing pains. And I think it's something wrong in Nagy's scheme itself. Anytime you start talking about it's going to take 4 or 5 years to learn a scheme, your scheme is too complicated then, because guess what?
You don't have a scheme.
You don't even have players that long other than the quarterback. You're lucky to get a lot of the guys to the second contract. So you can't take 4 or 5 years to learn those schemes. So I think this is one of the inexperience of when you really not the offensive coordinator and you just kind of help Andy Reid design a few gadget plays, or you just get plays from other teams, and sometimes you don't have the all the intricate details of what happened that play. It could be the blocking scheme, etc. Hey, this worked for this team because they did X, Y, and Z. You kind of like the how it looked, and you try to steal the play. So I see with the Bears too, with Nagy. I'm not even gonna put much on Justin Fields. I'm gonna put it on lack of preparation by a head coach. You gotta get your quarterback in a better position. You know, like Mac J say, hey, if you got to max protect and only run 2 receivers, that's what you do. If your quarterback getting killed, then only 2 guys go out, everybody else block. But you got to run the ball if he's getting killed like that. So, hey, let's move to the next
First of all, Bernard, that's really arrogant for Matt Nagy to think it takes 4 years for a college graduates to learn his offense. I learned calculus in less time than that. This don't make any sense.
Hey, just to piggyback on something that we were talking about. In the beginning of the game, the first quarter, the Browns were trying to run the football, and the Bears were all over it on defense.
3 third downs in a row.
And they continued to run the football. They like, hey, this is what we do. This is what we hang our hat on. Okay, so what? So what? You stopped us. So what? We're going to keep running this ball. So what? And so we run the ball. Oh, man, we lost a yard. Or, oh, man, Montgomery just got 41 yards. Get rid of it. You know, that's what we do. That's exactly what we do. He just ran for 41 yards. Let's not run again. Forget it.
You know what, though?
Wait, so I got a question. Because Jay clearly disagrees with all of us. Jay, why do you think that this ain't on Nagy? Like, I would really like to know.
I'll say this is not on Nagy. This is on a porous offensive line. This
that
has
was
nothing
called by Nagy.
Because let me tell you something. If Andy Dalton was in there, it would have been the same result. If Nick Foles was in there, it would have been the same result. That ain't coaching. No, it's players. These players are just offensive line.
Play calling.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This is bad play calling. That last sack on Justin Fields, where Peters was looking inside and Miles Garrett ran right past him. These are professionals. These are professional football players. And they look like grade school life. All of them. Every last one of them. No separation. You can't coach separation to wide receivers. Nobody was open. This entire game. Nobody. This is on the players. This is not on coaching.
Well, hold on.
Well,
now
the
playing
coaches
the role
get
of,
the players
of angry
ready.
Keith Flournoy is Jay. You mad at this that I'm usually am, man. I'm a little concerned, bro.
Hey, but let me throw this caveat in there. The players that you get when you're trying to save money and make a roster, this is what you get.
Exactly.
This is what you get when you're trying to cut and pinch pennies and say, hey, I'm going to take the 26 offensive lineman that's available because I want to save a couple $1 million. This is what you get. You get bad football. That's all.
That's exactly what this was. I wouldn't put it so much on money, other than I've been saying this for years. I don't think the Bears organization is too bright, and the personnel decisions, because every team this year had to cut players. So it's who you cut, right? It's who you cut.
Man, where my boy Leno at, man? Damn.
So,
he was looking pretty good today.
Let me bring Zemi in. What you got, Zemi? What you thought about this?
What else?
Hey, what's up, Banter crew? How y'all
All
doing?
right.
What up?
Mad.
What's up?
I'm
Good to
mad.
see y'all.
He's mad.
I know you mad, Jay, but Jay, I'm going to apologize right up front because this is one time I had to disagree with you.
Hey,
This was bad
everybody got
play
opinion.
calling. Okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. When I coached
I'm not
football,
saying.
I coached Pee Wee League all the way through, man, up until my kids got to high school. But this is the one thing about it. We had a team and we made it to the playoffs. We got to the semifinal game, right? So I knew the other team had scouted us the whole season. So I changed my offense completely. We beat them 28-8 because they weren't prepared for what we normally do. I went out of town, told my assistant coach, I said, put in a new defense, put in a 62. We going away from the 44. Him like a knucklehead, he didn't do it. We got beat 32-8 in the championship. That's coaching. The only reason I'm disagreeing with you, Jay, is because Cleveland scouted us and Nagy calls the same plays every week. Therefore, Cleveland defense just ran the defense against everything he calls. And that's why the offense was outmatched. That's why the offense couldn't make no adjustments because they too set in their ways. We have no creativity in our offensive play calling. That's coaching. That's not playing. You still have to give these guys on offense the ability to stunt and give different looks in order to compete. That's the only reason I'm disagreeing. That's coaching, right? That is coaching. And at the end of the day, coaches take the blame, players take the credit. That's coaching all day long. It was coaching. They was getting nothing but ride the whole game on Cleveland's side. Rushing yards easy. Any running back they put in there was picking up yards. That's coaching.
Okay.
There was
Hey,
a
you know
lot of
what?
ride going on.
Hey, let's go to this right quick. I know we
He
I
never makes
had.
adjustments.
Did anybody get an offense anything higher than an F? Because we really don't have to grade the offense if anybody, unless somebody gave them a grade higher than an F. Anybody?
Man.
Okay. Hey, let's go to this right quick before we go to the defense. It was something on Friday I missed. We didn't get a chance to go over what our not scores, but what our predictions would be as far as the team for the year. I'm picking. This is what I had before this game. I had the Bears going 9-8. Tammy, what do you have the Bears doing this season?
I can for this game, I can only be bad at myself because I went with my heart instead of my head because I said from week one that they were going to lose this game, but I hoped that with Justin Fields coming in and it would be different and like we'd have some infusion of something. Like I really hoped that we could pull it out. It was possible to pull it out, but it just didn't happen. So I'm gonna change what I thought was gonna be the record that I was gonna go with recently. And I'm gonna say they're gonna be 8-9.
8-9. Okay. Hey, Mike, what you had the Bears going this year?
Huh? No, I'm just Wait, let me address this one comment by the Facebook user. The only reason why I brought up Charles Leno, because Charles Leno was smart enough to hold. How many holding calls did we have on our offensive line today?
That's so
It was
true,
like,
Mike. That is
it
so
was
true.
like,
That's
Hut,
true.
look out, here they come. You better watch it. Leno at least was smart enough to hold, but
And you could get away with holding, Mike, if you do it right, correct?
dude, they would have felt so
All day
sorry for
long.
Justin. They would have felt sorry, like you know what? I'm gonna let that one slide, man, because man, he back there taking a whooping. But all right, so the offense, the score for the year, I'm wavering between 7-10 and 6-11.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay. What
I
about you, guys?
don't see many wins in there for us. And don't get mad at me, y'all. You know I'm a Bears guy, but
Right.
I'm a realist.
What about you,
Absolutely.
guys? How you got them going this season?
Before the game started, you know what? Okay, and I'm gonna go back to last year. Just say you hired me as a coach. I'm an egomaniac, and then I get all in my feelings. Say, forget it, Bill. You're gonna go ahead and do the offensive line. What type of records did he set in a 5-game stance as far as points, as far as yards? I'm a little smart enough to know, well, maybe he can do something with that and just let him keep going. I had 9-8 before this game. I'm 6-11.
Wow.
That's all I got to say, man. Because until they can make adjustments on the fly.
It got my 9-8 was before this game. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna switch it to 7 and what it would be 7 and 10. 7 and 10. I'm going to 7 and 10. Zimmy, I saw you had a comment down there. I'm just gonna go in order. What do you have them going, Zim?
I'm going 7 and 10 as well. With the play calling, if it stays the same, we'll go 7 and 10 because everybody's gonna be playing for the draft pick at the end of the year, and we're gonna pick up a few.
Okay. Hey Jay, what do you have them going this year?
6 and 11.
6 and 11.
Enough said. 6 and 11.
Okay. What about you, Brian?
Right, he is hot tonight.
Yeah, I'm not used to Jay taking my role. He playing me pretty good though. I'm a little scared. He looks a little intimidating, man. I'm like, whoa, is that okay? No, I got the Bears at 9-8 too.
Y'all just don't really know how hot I am right now. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something.
We see steam coming off your hair, everything, bro.
The sad thing about it is, tomorrow, like I normally do, I will go back and watch this game tomorrow, and I'm probably gonna be mad tomorrow than I was today. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I sat on my couch and didn't mutter an entire word this entire game because I'm looking at these players like, is this what y'all came out here to do? I'm telling y'all, nobody. Oh my God, nobody.
Quit blaming Eddie Jackson. I'm sorry, you didn't blame Eddie Jackson. Okay.
But if y'all go back and look at every pass outside of the interception that gave us a gift, a pass interference.
Yeah.
If you look at every pass was contested. No receiver was within a yard and a half of separation from a defensive back. It was where all these speed guys at? But guess what? You can't run speed routes when you can't block. I'm telling you, they ought to be ashamed of themselves today. Each and every player on this team should be ashamed of themselves today, outside of Justin Fields.
Yeah, Jay, that's Jay, you're making some great points. One of the things in reference to separation, I just like to add to this. Separation is not always created by speed, which I know you know that because you was a receiver. Mm-hmm. Separation is sometimes created by play design. If your play is designed correctly, take the New England Patriots, Mike's team.
No.
New England always had a little guy that always would just be totally open, and they had great play design. Not saying those guys didn't have any speed, but I'm saying its play design was so well to get your receivers open. So you have to find ways to get your receivers open. Because you can't tell me Mooney can't get separation and he runs a 4-3. Mooney can get separation.
You know how a lot of guys get separation in the league? It's called rub routes.
Correct.
And we don't run any.
We don't run any.
We don't run any rub routes.
I don't understand that, man.
Every defense is sitting on our route.
Yeah.
But you know what?
They're not out.
What you got, guy?
Now go ahead, Zam. Go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say, man, these defensive backs are not that great. They sitting on our routes, bro. Everybody knows what's coming.
Yeah.
They sitting on our route. Yeah. And Jay's boy Robinson, I wasn't a fan at first, and I watched him last year. I was listening to Jay. I was like, this dude is good. He was the only one playing with heart today. And but they were sitting on him. They sitting on our routes, man, because I can predict what the Bears gonna do better than I can predict Connecticut women when they undefeated and 4 years champions, man.
Man.
Hey, let's get to the bragging. Let's get to the bragging rights before
what we got down there?
Okay, hey, hold on, Zim. Pull y'all for a minute so we can see this. Hold on 1 minute, Zim. I'm gonna pull y'all so we can see this.
What is that?
So hey,
Knuckle sandwich.
So let's look at this. We got Tammy 1 and 2, Jay 2 and 1. Jay was right about today. Tammy was a loser today. I was a loser today. I'm 1 and 2. Guy was correct about today. Guy is 2 and 1.
Oh, what? I was already 2. I took my first.
You was already. I'm sorry. You picked the Bears, so you get your first loss for the season, right? Because you came in 2 and 0.
Give him that L. Give him that
L. Plank is 1 and 2, and Quick leading the pack 3 and 0.
Follow me.
Hey, let's go to the defense.
Follow me.
Hey, guy.
You know what? Yes, sir.
What do you think about the defense today, guy, and how you grade them?
They play bend but don't break. They played good enough for a half. But just like Quick said, you know what? Hey, 3/4 is great, but you still got to play the whole game. Not going back to the offense, but sort of going back. I mean, the defense did as best as they could, but even as somebody that's never played professional football, none of that other stuff, the one thing I used to watch when I would watch like Dallas, who I hated, they'd have Tony Dorsett back there by himself and he'd get blasted. The next thing they put a fullback in to stand back there. It's like all you go do is stand right next to the quarterback and catch the block. It seemed like every time Justin Fields dropped back, within 2 seconds, it was at least 2 defensive guys. Our defense, Eddie Jackson, like I said, he was probably on audition for that game show. America's Got Some Talented family members, but I'm not one of them, but I'm a trial for a spot. That dude is, you know what? And it's like I would be 1/1000th of the football player that he could ever be. But they paying you to do something, man. Every time I look up and if something bad happens, I see that number 4, and I'm like, ooh, but our defense played good enough for at least 2.5 quarters for us to catch up.
So what's that grade, guy?
I would give him a C-.
Okay, we got one of the viewers that agree with you on the C-. Hey, Tammy, what'd you get a defense? How did they perform, and what is their grade for today?
Yeah, I would give them a C. I mean, initially the defense was showing up. They were trying to keep us in the game. They gave us a half a chance, to win. Y'all know I don't like Eddie Jackson. I don't know who his backup is. It's a no-name person, but I say sometimes you got to give somebody an opportunity to step up and they just might surprise you. So sit Eddie Jackson down and let the next man come up, because he might just surprise you. Maybe he got some heart, some passion, some drive, and he'll give you something, because Eddie Jackson ain't giving you nothing. So what are you winning by keeping him in there? You got to pay him anyway. So you might as well let somebody else help you win a game versus letting Eddie Jackson help you lose a game. I like Jalen Johnson. He plays with a bit of heart. If we had kept, Kyle Fuller, we might have something going on back there. But we didn't. So, but I think Jalen Johnson is giving good effort. I think Roquan Smith is giving good effort. I wasn't displeased with the defense, but they lost steam. I can't completely be mad at them as to why they lost steam. We all know why they lost steam, because they had to work too hard, but they tried. So I'll give them a C.
You give them a C. Okay. Hey, Plank, where'd you get a defense?
Okay, I think Roquan Smith had a decent game. As always, I mean, that seems to be what we're always saying about him. Quinn has been really bringing it this year. He's got not only a sack or 2, he's got a good quarterback pressure. Also, Mack and Edwards. So the defense, they were decent. They were a little bit more than decent early, but they wore down late. So I'm gonna have to get the defense a C.
Okay, Plank, give him a C. Hey, Jay, what do you get a defense?
I get a defense a C as well. Just to piggyback on what Tammy said, she was like, she don't know who Eddie Jackson backup is. Well, I know who Tayshaun Gibson backup is. Deion Bush, who missed the tackle, which turned the tide of the game. That missed tackle and that 35-yard run by Kareem Hunt turned the tide of the game. This defense was playing lights out. They was matching Cleveland sack for sack. even though our quarterback was getting sacked, they was putting pressure on Baker Mayfield the entire game. But again, once you 3 and out on offense, 3 and out on offense, 3 and out on offense, it's only so much you can ask these guys. Roquan Smith flying around all day today. Robert Quinn, he earned a weekly paycheck this week. He got one sack in 3 games this week than he had all last year. This defense was really playing lights out. Unfortunately, our defense sucks. I'm sorry, our offense sucks. And that's the sad part about this whole thing. Nobody today should be able to get on the plane. Outside of Pat O'Donnell and Justin Fields, everybody should walk back to Hollis Hall.
Walk back to Cleveland. Walk back to Chicago.
Hey, Zimmy, what's your grade on the defense and how they played to you today?
I pretty much agree with everybody. It was a C. You take a C and you turn it 360. They made you smile sometimes with the sacks. They made you frown sometimes with the missed tackles and the blown coverages. And then they had you with wrinkles in the forehead because you was like, what did they just do? And it all still comes out to a C. So I agree with everybody.
Okay. Hey, did I miss you? Did I get you, Mike?
No, I actually agree with everybody as well. One of the problems that we have too, though, as well as we could try to stop the run with our linebackers in our front four, our linebackers are still having problem covering in the pass. So that creates some problems for us as well. But we got to get them off the field. I mean,
right? Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I'm a component of talking trash about Robert Quinn. So today, if you want to win, you got to let Robert Quinn spin. He played today. I was like, did he get a new? Right, I was like, did he get a new girlfriend or something? Man, something happened. There was a drastic change in this brother's life in the past 72 hours that we don't know about. Something happened. I mean, he was playing lights out, and I was just like, what?
And y'all just think
Mac had sacks. I was like, what? What's going on?
And y'all just think coming into this game, the Browns was ranked 31st on third down conversion on defense.
Huh.
We couldn't even. How many first downs do we have today? I ain't even looked at no stats today because it don't really matter. I think the Bears had maybe 3 or 4 first downs the entire game.
Terrible.
Right.
It was bad. It was bad.
Hey, my grade on the defense is a C. If I could divide this grade into two halves and positions, I would give the Bears defensive line a B. The defensive line did their job, especially in the first half. They made sacks. They was kind of containing the run game, and because the offense wasn't doing nothing, they kind of wore down. Now, like I said, if I could divide it into positions, the secondary can't tackle worth a darn. I mean, they can't tackle at all. If you get past the defensive line or get past Roquan Smith, don't expect the Bears secondary to tackle them at all.
No, not at all.
So as far as that, I give them a C because you got to play 4 quarters. Regardless of what happens in the game, it's 4 quarters. And I understand if the offense is not getting no first down, that's why early on, I think we was talking online, I was like, kick the field goal because there was nothing. They was not doing anything positive offensively. I'm just jumping to the deep offense right quick that made me believe that the Bears could actually get a touchdown in that game. So I felt whenever they got a field goal range, let's take it. But back to the defense is going to have a long season this year because if the Bears offense look like this the rest of the season, they're going to have to find ways to get turnovers and score on defense because they can't even count on the offense to even move the ball, even if they have a short field in front of them.
You know what, Bernard? One of the things that Jackson got to saying on, as he was in training camp trying to train the new DBs is everybody can tackle, everybody can't get the ball. So I agree with him. None of the defensive backs were tackling, but it seemed like to me none of them got the ball either, so you might as well not pay them anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? But you're a martial artist, so hey, Plank, you're a martial artist. This is like you being the sensei and your student beating your ass.
That happens sometimes, though. If you train them right, that's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, but if you ain't good in the first place, but then your student better than you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the defense. Man,
name the last sport where you counted on old men to run fast.
I know.
But having Mario Edwards back.
But you know,
yeah,
I am too. But you know what makes it real bad though, man? We start talking about receivers not creating separation and stuff. I would be okay and say, okay, let's get it a wash. But anytime there was an invention of a Steve Largent and a Fred Biletnikoff, I could run faster than both them dudes in their prime right now at 55. And I can't even count the number of times I looked at game film and they squad getting blitzed and I look up and they wide open. It's no.
I'm gonna tell you something. On defense, Mario Edwards Jr. That was a big welcome back, man. This front seven. Hey, this front seven is dominating. And I'm gonna tell you something about Desai, Mike. Since you like to make fun of him, this is the first time I've seen on a Bears defense in a long time where you actually had a corner trailing one specific wide receiver. He covered Odell Beckham. Jalen Johnson covered Odell Beckham the entire game. You know
he had to.
You know we don't see that from a Bears defense, though.
Hey, he had to.
No matter how good the wide receiver is, whatever side he was on, that's who was going to cover him. But Jalen Johnson trailed him the entire game, and that's something that I've never seen in the Bears defense, even back in the 80s. I never saw that. So kudos.
I like Jalen.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. Let's move on to the next question. How do you grade the coaching today, Tammy?
Oh, come on.
Oh. Well, I saw, I don't know who it was, but one of our viewers said coaching, they would do an expulsion, and I agree with them. Whoever that was that said that, just expel Nagy. I'm sorry. I just really think at this point, I would be happier, and I would take losses better with Laser as an interim head coach, decide running the defense.
Wow.
and let's see what we get. At least we could find an offense. We would find an offense, and we would have a fighting chance. Not saying we would go to playoffs, not saying whatever, but we would find an offense. Laser would develop Justin Fields better and prepare him for next year better. Nagy is not going to help Justin Fields. And if Nagy cannot help Justin Fields, that does not help us in the long run. So at this point, he just needs to go.
Okay. What was that grade again, Tammy, for the coaching?
Expulsion.
Ow. Ow.
Hey, Mike.
F minus, double F minus, triple F minus.
Well, Tammy, looking at your boy Laser, I'm not really a big fan of his because he came from terrible teams as well. The Bengals.
But look at what he did as an offensive coach. Look at his record.
He was Andy Dalton's offensive coach. Yeah.
He coached Nick Foles to his Super Bowl record. He coached Michael Vick to his
he coached numbers. Carson Wentz, who was terrible, and that's how Nick Foles had to get in there because Carson Wentz is still terrible.
He also coached Mike Vick to the best numbers he ever had. There was another quarterback that he
Cody Parkey won that Super Bowl for the Eagles. Cody Parkey won that for the Eagles. Let's get that straight. A 41-yard field goal by NFL kicker. Come on, man. Parkey had missed 20 field goals that year. So Cody Parkey gets kudos for that Super Bowl.
Hey, I see John Muhammad gives the coaching staff an F.
I gotta give him
minus. But he said John Muhammad said an F minus. What you say, Mike?
I'm with John.
I give him. They were prepared for the first half, but they didn't make any adjustments. 10-3 in the first half. You still in the ball game. You don't panic. You come out. You make some adjustments here and there. Where they trying to hit us at? We gotta change some stuff. You go into a game. When I used to coach, I would never really run the same plays that I ran in the first half. I would come out with some different stuff with some wrinkles, so they didn't have time to prepare for it in the locker room during halftime. So I give them, I say a D because they were not prepared. The whole team really wasn't prepared except for the defensive line
And let me
and
break
the
that up.
linebackers.
F
That was it.
minus offense, C defense. Let me break that up.
Okay. Hey, Guy, how do you grade the coaching staff?
I'm gonna give the side B. I'm gonna give him a B, and for what they did, I'll give him a B. Reason why I'm gonna give Nagy an F is because one, it's adjustments. I think he did. The players didn't do what they needed to do. We, got to don't get me wrong on that. They didn't, but like I say, I always call Matt Nagy a glory whore, and Willie D said you gotta let a homie go. Unfortunately, the thing is, the difference between
Bald
him,
head.
Nagy,
Oh, sorry.
the difference between Nagy and other coaches, even Dick had an ego, but he was smart enough to know when to step the hell back when something was when you try something. Nagy's not making adjustments in the first 15, the first 30. He ain't making no adjustments. He'd be the type of guy that'll sit up at a doggone what can I say? I ain't even got no example for him, though, man. He's the type of guy that just basically say, "I know more than you, and I'm gonna call it the way I want to call it. And when we lose, I'm gonna blame you for it." Although the offensive line and all should take blame, but you gotta make adjustments to try to get them dudes like Quick was talking about rub routes. One, number two, you can't let the running back run 10 times in the game, and you are traditionally a running team. So he gets there. Special teams, I would give like a C minus.
Okay. So it sounds like you gave a B for the defense, a F for the offense. That's either a C minus or a D, depends on how that B was. Hey, Plank, how do you grade the coaching today? Hey, James Gilmore, one of our guest hosts, he gives a grade of horrible. He doesn't even make the grading scale of A to F. He gives it an H. Horrible.
So Bernard, to be clear, you just asked me how do I grade our coach's execution.
Yes.
My grade for that is I say I'm all for it. I think the coach should be executed. As far as Nagy, offensive coaching, all of them need to get an F. They didn't block. The wide receivers didn't get any separation. The tight ends didn't block or catch passes, and they were not prepared to play this game. So defense, I'm still going with a C. The offensive coaches, I'm giving all of them an F. Cairo Santo was the MVP offensively.
Always.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, how you grade the coaching today?
I see some ball head. Oh, I'm sorry. This will be my song now.
Don't do it, Jay.
Special teams get incomplete. Go back to what Keith just said. He was like, the offense. He was like, did nobody block? Did nobody? Right. The coaches ain't out there to block. The players are. The coaches ain't out there to catch passes. The players are. So I'm gonna get an offense a D. But it's about execution. It's about execution. And today, I'm just saying, these players need to be held accountable as well. Bottom line. So, special teams get incomplete. Offense gets a D. And I'm going to give the defense a C only because they did as much as they could until they just couldn't do no more because their tongues was hanging out their mouth by the end of the game.
Okay. Hey, we got one of our guests on today, Emerson Bowie, who came on as a guest. Like we say, our show is always open to people. If you're watching us online on one of those three sources, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV, at the beginning of every broadcast, I put the link out there. If you want to join the broadcast as far as coming on as a guest and add your commentary, you're welcome to do it. Like Emerson has been with us all day today. Zemi, what's your grade for the coaching today?
Overall, I'm going to say a D, right? The offense was horrible. The defense had some bright moments. So overall, I'm going to say a D. I agree with everybody. Offense, we just need to wipe them off the map, right? They were horrible today, and they brought the rest of the team down. Until we start coaching as a unit, as a team, and recognize that one plays off the other, we're going to have a lot of weekends like this.
That's a great point.
I just want to see some execution. I just
Me
want to see
too.
some execution. That's it. Execute on offense.
Plank wants you to
Execute on
execute the
offense.
team. He wants you to execute the team. He don't want to see no play execution.
If you execute garbage, you're gonna get garbage, right? They was
If you
executing garbage.
Yes.
If you execute, okay. We gonna agree to disagree on that. We're gonna agree to disagree on that.
A for executing.
You're right, Jimmy.
I give him an A.
They need some plays they can actually execute.
Right.
In the pro game, I ain't never saw so many people run a 5 and out in a curl. You know, dude, that's what you do.
He's known for that.
5 out curl.
Did we run one play that stretched the defense?
Again, can you stretch a defense when your offensive line can't block?
Hey, let me tell you a secret.
Anytime he attempted to even try to roll out or try to go down the field.
But look, hey, Jay, let me tell you a secret. That one pass interference call, he really didn't even have to push him in the back because the ball would have came straight to him.
The ball would have came right to him anyway.
Right.
I
I
agree.
was like, why you passing? The ball was gonna hit him in the hands anyway, because Allen Robinson was kind of like leaning and probably wouldn't even been able to get up on that ball.
But again, that was on the roll. And again, that was on a rollout play. That was on the rollout play with pressure in his face.
Yeah,
that was on a rollout play with pressure in his face.
That man was running for his life, man. That man was running for his life. pressure from that left side. That wasn't no rollout. That was a get out. I got to get out.
But again, at the same time, what is that? That's poor execution on the offensive line. Man,
hey, Zimmy.
I'm fired up to have these players held accountable today. I'm fired up.
Zimmy, I do have a question. Since the Bears traveled out of state for this game and went across state lines with you working for the federal agency, can Justin Fields file federal charges on that beat up today? Please look into that because we'd like to see if we could file some kind of charges because
he at least filed for assault.
Right. It has to be federal since we went across state lines. So let's see what we can get out of that. But hey, anyway, let's move to are there any concerns with the game next week as far as when we face the Detroit Lions? I mean, what are the concerns you have from watching this game? And even though we're playing the Lions, you can't just say it's just the Lions get beat up like this today. So what are your concerns? Hey, let's start off with you, Zimmy. What are your concerns as far as going into the Lions, playing the Lions next week?
Well, it's a conference game, so and it's a historical rivalry. So, the stakes are higher, right? Everybody's going to come in playing for pride. But again, unless we come in and we start giving people a different look, we're going to allow the Lions to stay in the game. The longer you allow them to stay in the game, the more of a chance they got. People are looking at the recipe that the team the week before used, and that's putting pressure on the quarterback. We know we got a weakness, as everybody said, with the blocking schemes, because you don't let them in. I mean, once number 95 sacked our guy 1 or 2 times, you're supposed to make an adjustment, be like, okay, somebody else can get him, but this dude ain't getting him. But he was applying pressure. He got 4.5 sacks. I mean, again, we have to adjust and we have to do something. So if we look past them, we don't make any adjustments, I hope nobody picked the Bears to win.
Okay. Hey, Tammy, what are your concerns as far as next week against the Lions?
Well, I mean, I would love to say it should be easy because it's the Lions and we should win. But who are the Lions playing today? I think they were actually giving them
Baltimore.
They were actually
Baltimore
competitive, I think, when I last looked at the score. I don't know the final score, but it should be over now. It is a conference game, like Zimmy said. The Lions don't have a quarterback, so we should have a fighting chance. We need, sad to say, our defense to show up. They have been, but we need our offense even more to show up. I don't disagree with Jay as far as the players didn't do their job I agree. They are professional players and they should have done better. But I also believe that you need to design plays that they can actually execute and that are winnable plays and that aren't so predictable so that everybody know what you got coming before it even comes. So I'm hoping that the offensive line, does not collapse the way that it does. I'm hoping that the secondaries, you know, don't have so many blown coverages. I'm hoping people actually play in front of the ball instead of behind the ball so much because there was a couple plays where I was like, why is he behind him? Why is he not in front of him? Like, get in front of the ball, not pass interference, but like, they're just giving them too much room. It's like they're just standing there waiting for them at times, not all the time, at times, to catch the ball and then hit them. No, they're giving them too many open looks for catching the ball. Like, we had so many contested throws, and it's like our guys at times are just waiting for them to catch the ball and then be like, let me hit him after he catch it.
Okay.
No, we can't do that.
Hey, Jay. I'm sorry, Tammy.
We just need our defense to show. We need both sides to show up, and we need our offense to find a rhythm.
Okay. Hey, Jay, what are your concerns for next week?
My concern is that the Bears will take the Lions lightly. The Lions they may be 0-3, but they have been competitive in every game. Even last Monday night when they wound up getting finally blew out by the Packers. That game, I believe, was 10-7 at halftime. The Lions are an up-and-coming team, and they've been competitive in every game. But if our players don't change their mindset and come to play, that's a game that we're going to lose too. So at this point, the way these players are playing right now, I have absolutely no faith in this team right now. None. Zero.
Okay. Hey, quick, what are your concerns going in to play against the Lions next week?
I'm gonna keep it real brief. The Lions have played 3 of last year's playoff teams and have been competitive in every ball game. The running back from the Packers who came over to Detroit, who was that? Jamal Williams. He has been running the football because San Francisco tried to stretch the game on them in week 1, and next thing you know, they had closed the gap, and I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? And
then was a first down away. They was a first down away.
And even today, and this is why if you bet parlays, I always take Lamar Jackson in the first half.
Right.
But the Ravens came back and won on the final drive against Detroit. Detroit was up with less than 2 minutes left. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, what just happened? And so the Ravens got the ball and ended up only winning 19-17 against Detroit. So don't let them fool you. Oh no.
Hey, Plank, what are your concerns against the Lions?
Okay. Dan Campbell has them playing pretty well, actually. He's got them being competitive, put a bit of a chip on their shoulders. So, the Lions are not the easy win that everybody thinks that they are. And here's another point I want to make sure everybody remembers. The Lions beat the Bears last year. So all of that smack we were talking, they beat us in the middle of us going for a playoff run. And the Lions, we still end up taking a loss to the Lions with as a much lesser team. So I'm a bit concerned about the Lions, and I don't think this is going to necessarily be an easy win.
Wait a minute, team. They should have beat us week 1. The dude dropped the ball.
Yep.
Right.
So we'd have taken 2 L's to the Lions.
Yep.
Hey,
and this ain't even the same team.
Right. Hey, Guy, what are your concerns going in against the Lions?
What has to do with the Lions, what concerns me more than anything else is one thing that the Lions did last year, very, very first play of the game, a 9,000-yard bomb for a completion. Only thing I really worry about is, they may not have the greatest quarterback, but if this dude start looking all pro, we in trouble, man. We in trouble. We can try to get all the pressure that we want and all that stuff. We do the best that we can, but if they can't get to the quarterback and it's on our DBs, it's going to be a long game. But just like I said, Lions are 0-3, but these dudes are playing. They just don't have enough. But they playing hard, man. The Bears going to come. I hope they don't come in thinking, oh, yeah, we got the Lions and all that other stuff. Them dudes got to play just like that. They mama going to be set on fire if they don't win this game. Because if they don't do that, they're going to lose this one.
Guess what, guy? We ain't got enough either.
Yeah, but at least when you ain't got enough, you take out that pride, get a little humility, and you really care about your job. You get out there and do the best that you can to execute with what you got. We got a couple pieces where we could move the ball. Like I say, Montgomery. But if they only give him 10 carries in this Detroit game, they're going to be 1-3 after this. I'm talking about the Lions.
Come on, guy. Let me hear you say it. Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh, my. No,
hey, what I would like to say is on Friday, we're going to do our pregame show, and we'll dip into our analysis a little bit more on how we view what's going to happen in this Lions and Bears game. So that'll be this Friday at 7 p.m. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Is red. If you're on Facebook, join the Facebook fan page, which is Bears Banter Talk Show. We had a good talk today. A disappointing loss again. The Bears lose 26 to 6 to the Browns today. 20 point loss. If there's no other comments before we close out, let me know if you got anything else before we close out. Anybody got anything else they want? Any parting words?
Yeah, this is Mr. Jackson's face mask.
Hello, we see your leg. What's going on?
You can actually see that thing. At least the screen can see. He was just like this. Eddie Jackson.
Hey, guy, he got a visor on, man. He got a dark visor on. That's all it is. With some handprints in it.
He said Jesus take the wheel, and Jesus was like, man, my driver's license at the crib, bro.
Man.
All I want to part ways with is that this is a gut check moment to me.
Yeah, it is.
For the players. This is a gut check right here. Because this was a pathetic performance on the offensive line, on the wide receivers, on the tight ends, on the coaching. This was pathetic. I haven't seen a loss like this bad in a long time. So, yeah, this is gut check time for the Chicago Bears.
Okay. Hey, anybody else got anything before we close out for the day? Well, we'd like to thank everybody who watched. What'd you say, Tammy?
I was just going to say the Bears just have to find some heart. Cleveland came to play today, which is, not surprising. The Bears just got to find some heart. They got to dig deep. Cleveland played like a team that wanted to win. The Bears didn't.
Okay. Sound like you're saying the Bears need to find the whiz to get some heart. Anyway, we'd like to thank everybody who's watching us today on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. Enjoy your evening. Peace.
All right.